Good morning, YouTube. Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. It is the 10th of July, and today I'm going to walk you through adding a variation to an existing listing and the general process and what you need to do. Now, it might not always be able to do, but I'm going to give you the general overview of what that process looks like. Most of the time, it is too much of a pain in the butt to do so for me, especially if you just have one product and the scenarios around that. It's hard. It's not impossible, but it is a little bit more difficult than your average listing something on Amazon. So we're going to start off by an example here of this Nautica boys shoes. I felt this is something that you could easily find at a Ross or a Marshall's or maybe an outlet store. And the scenario in this situation is we found this shoe for, let's say, $6 to $9, and they're going for $35. This is a keep a graph down here, so they're going for about $30, $35, and you found a variation that is not here. Maybe it's the color, maybe it's the size, maybe you found a size 5'6" and they only do 3/4s, or perhaps you found a bra and they don't have the size listed. This could work for a lot of things. Amazon has been very tricky with what they'll allow you to do lately in the catalog. They've been doing a lot of catalog changes. If you are part of our bundle group, we go more into that and a little bit more in depth, but I wanted to make something for the YouTube channel here. Now, this one in particular, if you ever needed the ASIN, take note that the ASIN is always up in the URL of the listing. This is Reseller right here. I will be switching over to CryptoLabs, whatever this is called, integration into the Chrome browser, when my subscription to Reseller ends, but it essentially does the same thing. So if you have CryptoLab, there is an extension that will allow you to see this as well. So we want the parent. We're going to go up and copy it. Control copy, or you can right click copy as well. I don't know what that just did. That was weird. Okay. I don't know what I clicked, but that was not good. We're just going to repaste it in there. There we go. All right. Back to square one, copy. We're going to go over to add a product. Now, if you just paste in this, you will get the parent and you'll be able to go through and see all of the variations for this. It looks like we have, can we show 10 more? Is there 10 more? There's a lot. The other place that I like to look for the variations is down in the keep a graph. You can look for variations down here. If it will load today, it's thinking. It hasn't had its morning coffee yet. There we go. If you're not finding something, I usually either look here or I will go and look in the add a product. The other part around here that I will just highlight is there is, let's see here, a review count, a ratings count. If you toggle this, you can see the best rated and the worst rated of the variations. So if you were looking to purchase these, say, online arbitrage, and you were like, I don't know if I should get the pink size, blah, 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 you can come and see what the ratings are. That will give you an indication on how often they're bought, because you get so few ratings. The ones that are purchased more are going to have more ratings. So it's just a correlation there. It does not say how much more they are bought and why. Maybe the other ones don't have any ratings because they're never in stock. Don't know. But the best-selling one right here is the boys navy red size 11. It has got the most reviews. So if I were going to buy any of them to test it out, I would probably purchase this one. If I was at a Ross or Marshall's and found these for a very good price, we'll say in the $10 or less range, and I'm getting that because they're going for about $30 $35. You want to go for about a third is what your cost of goods should be. If it can be less than a third, that's awesome. But if it's not at least a third of what the list price is, I'm passing over it just on that when I'm outsourcing or online sourcing, wherever you're sourcing from. All right. We have determined that our option is not available here. It is not available here. You're going to want to go up to the three little things, three little lines, and go to Catalog, Add Products. You can also, I was going to highlight that. If you didn't know this yet, this little flag removes and adds them to your favorite bar. So you can see here in my favorite bar, I've got Manage All Inventory, Feedback, Account Health, Build My Brand, Campaign Manager, Dashboard, and this is Inventory Dashboard, and then All Products. We are going to click in the bottom right, Create Variations using Variation Wizard. From here, you can do two things. This one I've never really managed. I don't do my variations like that. Again, in our bundle group, we go over like grouping up children under one parent and things like that. We're just going to go right here to update or add to or update an existing variation. And we're going to search that. You can put in the parent ASIN. You can put in the child ASIN. Took a minute there, and it's going to spit it out. So this listing was built, and sometimes it's good to go see how a listing has been built. If you're going to create your own shoe listing, I would go look at a good shoe listing out there and see how did they do it. They did it by color and size right here, size and color. They did a two variation, what do you call it? Like there's two variations to it, size and color. Most clothing is size and color. When you get into other categories, maybe you want scent or flavor, pack size, whatever makes sense. And this is where we have a majority of issues is Amazon will come through and they'll say, oh, this candy bar listing no longer can have flavor as an option or count size as an option. It's now a different option. And that really messes up the listings. I try to stay away from listings that are messed up. This one looks pretty good. We've got the external product ID, which is a UPC code. We've got the colors and the size, and we've got the names right here. So the name format is a basic title. And let's see here. It is to about right here. And then I don't know if you guys, can you guys see that? I hope you guys can see that. So the front part of the child, nautical kids, girls, fashion, sneaker, running shoes, slip-on, jogger, toddler, and little kid, and then something to denote what kind it is. They have gone through and modified, updated the child listings. If you're making your own variation listing, it will start with the parent title, and then it will be a dash parentheses whatever the child part of it. So if you had pack of 3 as your child, it would be dash parentheses pack of 3, however you worded it. All right. Once, let's say we wanted to add, we're in this example, we're just going to add a girls Mattoon black, and we'll make up a number. We'll do size 15 because I don't think there's really a 15, but we'll do a size 15. You're going to have to scroll all the way down. Holy macaroni. This is 13 pages of variation. So we're going to hit add variation. It will auto-populate an SKU. If you wanted to make a custom SKU, you can do something like that. I would typically do something like this is how I standardize my UPCs. And I do that in Inventory Lab. If not, I'll have to put it in here. However you're making the listing, you can customize your SKU many different ways. But when I am looking at repricing or how something's doing, or if I'm at the store, which happened this weekend, I was looking at my Trader Joe's replens, and I was going into my inventory, and it was really easy to see from your inventory page what the sale price is and what your cost of goods was, and see if it's going to be a profitable item to replen. Anyhow, going back to this, we're going to do that and paste in this. And instead of that, we're going to put in size 15. Now, here's the tricky part. They want you to put a custom SKU here. If you are at the Ross Marshalls, we're at Ross, and you see the UPC code in there, you can go ahead and paste the UPC code, or type in the UPC code. I don't have a UPC code, so we're just going to make something up right now. This is, what is this one? Size. I'm going to say size 15. Color was, I think it was black, because it doesn't really matter. And then we'll just copy and paste this, which is, it's tough. You got to go back up and down. The color map and the color, I'll explain that difference. The color map would be saying that this is a blue mug, because anybody who is maybe looking for a mug for somebody for their birthday present and they want to just sort it by the blue mugs, they're going to tick that box on the right, on the left, that says blue, and they will get all the blues. But maybe this is steel cerulean blue, and I want to denote that as my variation because maybe I have 3 blues. I've got a sky blue, a cerulean blue, and a robin's egg blue. So that is the difference between your color map and the color. We've got a general size right here, which doesn't make too much sense. This is very difficult to determine too, because if you're doing shoes and you've got toddler shoes and you've got big kid shoes and you've got like even bigger kid shoes, sizing is really tough. I will go and find another listing to kind of copy what the size is, or sometimes on the tag there is a size chart that will tell you that this is a big or a small or a toddler or whatever, but it can be difficult to interpret. We are going to go do these new. They're not going to be OEM. They are new, not open box. And then this one is quantity and price. For any variation that I'm currently listing or any of my listings, I always do a quantity of 0 because I don't have anything rare right now. I am not sending it in right now. I just want to make the listing, and then I'm going to go and turn it in. For price, we'll do $34.99. Some people use that 0.99 to denote their inventory. That's very common. Mostly in eBay, I see it a lot, but sometimes I'll do it in Amazon if I got it on sale or got it with a coupon, or maybe, I don't know, some way to denote that like a 97 means this, or a 98 means this, or a 95 means that. For internal purposes, you can do that. I know Costco is 97 cents means it's on clearance. Now we can hit save and generate template. If you didn't have this information right there, you would just not have it, especially if you didn't have a UPC code. So we're going to go over that scenario right now. Instead of generating template right now, we're going to delete that. And now we just have a blank. So we'll generate a template without that. Now, if we scroll down, we've got, let's see, my template process here. Last week, I think I did 3 or 4 flat files, and I had to go pull templates. This is a good way to pull a template as well if you just want to pull a template and you don't want to go through and pull a fresh one and you want to just see what something else is listed as. We're going to wait a minute. It is in process. It's got to think about it for a minute. Doesn't usually take too long. We'll hit the refresh here. Oh, now I got to go pull the ASIN again. If you do that, that's not a problem. I'm going to show you how to get back there. We're just going to click that. We'll go back, and the templates are all down here. We have to click on it to go previous. Just click download previous generated templates. This really should be blue or something to denote that it can go down. All right, this template is now ready. We're going to hit download, and then we're going to open it. Let's see here. Oh, it opened up on the wrong page. Enable editing. I didn't shut down everything. Just a minute. Let's pull this up. It's Monday morning. Apparently I left about 4 files open on Friday. That's all good. All good in the neighborhood. All right, we have got just the parent that we want to update, and these can be very daunting. Again, we go into more of the variation sheet step by step, but now we've got it. We're just doing a general overview here. I'll give you a little bit of details, but this is kind of now where you need to fill it in. So the first thing I do on these templates is I highlight this box between, we've got the A column and whatever this column is called with all the numbers. There's a little box right there that you can hit to select everything. You're going to hover over one of the columns. Any column will do. You're going to right click and you're going to hit unhide. I do that because Amazon, it was about 2 months ago, they updated and they added a new feature where they're going to hide columns on you. And they think that that makes it easier, but some of the columns are required. So you can't find the required columns if they're hidden. All right. The other harsh part of these files is everything is kind of squished like this. So you have to scroll through and kind of, when I'm looking here, I'm looking up at this area. And if you have a lot of variations to work with, it's very crazy on your eyes. All right. We can scroll through and see what's filled in and what's not. Another big pet peeve of mine is the product ID is never populated. So now you've got to go find the parent ID and populate it in, which I think should just come with the sheet, but it doesn't. You may be tempted, which I am, to right-click this and hit copy and paste it and just change whatever options you are. And sometimes that works, but 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. I'm not entirely sure of why it doesn't work. It just doesn't. There's something it's copying and pasting that's not good. So I go through each one, and if it's applicable to mine, I will then either copy it or select the same thing. This one, the only option is shoes. For brand, we're going to keep it nautical. Nautica, not nautical, but they are nautical. They're nautical nauticas. For the seller SKU, put in whatever you want. For update delete, typically we want a partial update. I don't know why it defaulted to update on this one, but you want a partial update. I don't know if I can get into the hows or whys because I'm not entirely sure how to explain it. An update is more, it will override everything. The partial update only really overrides the cells you're changing. So let's say that in these shoes, they have a default size, and the size is, I don't know, 8 by 6 by 4, and we're updating things. If I did the all update and I didn't put in that size, the blanks would override and it would take out my size. So we don't want that in this scenario. If you want to override all of the cells and blank out ones that you want to now wipe out, you can do that. I find that doing other things is more efficient, but that's essentially the difference. We've got item type. This is fashion sneakers. We've got outer material. Some of the red boxes you do have to fill out, some you don't. One would think, again, another beef. I have lots of beefs with Amazon, and it makes it very hard for a new person selling to know all these nuances. So it's you would think that the red cells mean you got to fill it out, but not always. So I will fill out what I can and what I know and what's applicable first. And if it shoots back an error code that I missed that cell and it's required, then I will go and fill out said cell. I wanted to show, let me get rid of my face really quick. Down in the bottom here, we've got a couple of tabs. We've got a instructions tab in many different languages. Maybe not, maybe just 2 languages. Okay, 2 languages. This is Their instructions are really garbage. We've got how to do images, again, really garbage. And I don't ever do linking of images on a flat file. I know some people do. I don't really have a good go-to for hosting the images. It's not required. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get a URL. No, you don't. Just get the listing up and then go edit the listing and pop in your photos. You don't have to. We've got an example, which I don't know. I find their instructions really hard to read. We've got data definitions. So here's the difference between update, delete, brand name, or, what everything means. I find that Control F is your friend because this is long. So I'll do a Control F to try and figure out what's going on and what are they talking about. The most important sheet that I use, I pretty much just toggle between the template and the valid values. The valid values are the important part of this sheet. We've got what product type is allowed. We've got update, delete. This tells you what what values you can put in there. So let's scroll down to target gender. For target gender, the only options you can do is male, female, unisex. So if you try to put girl in this field, it's going to reject it because that is not a valid value. It's just not allowed. For age range description, you have adult, big kid, little kid, toddler, infant. So if you tried to put baby or child, it's going to reject it. So very helpful. This is how I found out that with lotions and shower gels, etc., I can only put in fluid ounces for shower gels because that is the only count type that is allowed to do that. And I found that out last year. It probably took 3 or 4 phone calls to Seller Central before we figured out what was going on with them. All right. I love how the seller reps there's only a few that don't know more than me. And I'm not saying that to be cocky or anything like that, but it's true. In fact, most of them, you probably know more than most of the seller reps at Amazon, which is tough. All right. I will go through and I will add in a product ID type. Oh, this is the part I wanted to go through. This is a new one. There is now a new way to do the G10 exemption. If you go back to here, it is not available. So again, we're going to do Control F, exemption. Where did it go? Line 83. If you didn't catch that, there's a little 83 had a little gray out too. So there's no exemption for this. That means I cannot list this with exemption for this brand. Okay, that's what that means. If you don't have an exemption type, if you are allowed to list this product with G10 exemption, it will show up under, I want to say it's under product type. It will be, you'll have an option for exemption. There's going to be an exemption part right around in this area. I can't remember exactly which cell it is. And then you can put the exemption reason. And there's about 5 different valid value reasons for the exemption. All right, moving on. Outer material, again, if I don't know it or I don't think it is applicable, I'm going to leave more things blank than not, because once you get your listing made, it's easier to go in and use the edit button to add all those little nuances and not get hung up on the valid values. And oh my gosh, I put in, child instead of kid and had the form kicked back. Let's go through just a few more things here. I typically will scroll to this section. This one is important, variation. So the variation theme needs to be the same as the parent. This is size, name, color name. If you are merging or you want to change the list, if you have a current, let's say you have a current parent-child listing and you want to go and change that, you can. You really need to change it through flat file, but you can sometimes override it if you are the owner of the listing. For parentage, you're going to pick child. You're going to put in the parent SKU, which we get from way over here. We're just going to copy that cell. Too far. And we're going to put it right there. Do not put anything in this cell, whatever this is. This is the parent SKU for the parent. Don't put anything in that cell. For relationship, your two options are variation or package contains. Don't put anything in for that parent cell. I'm pretty sure you leave that one blank as well. And you're going to put in variation right there. So we've got child, parent SKU, variation. And these are all the options for this category, but we want to make sure it's the same as this one. So I'm going to control copy, control V. If you're on a Mac, it's Command C, Command V. On the regular computers, Control C, Control V. That is very handy to have. For bullet points and discovery, this is the green area. I keep flat files now of all my major things that have all my bullet points in there because Amazon has gone through and just deleted my bullet points for no reason on many things. So it's easier for me to go into the flat file, re-upload it. Do note that when you do that, everything goes to merchant fulfilled as default, and then you have to one-click relist over to FBA, and it will merge up and reattach your products to it. It doesn't take too long. I mean, I can get things to reattach and get it all squared away in probably 15 minutes or less. If you want to do bullet points, this is where you're going to put it in. Do note that the amount of bullet points you get here versus on the edit button are two different things. You cannot add in an extra column and add more bullet points on this flat file. I tried that. Didn't work. If you put bullet points on the parent and you run this flat file, a lot of times those bullet points are going to populate down to all of the children. Little iffy on the exact how that works and what overrides it. It's been a little wonky. Sometimes I've had my children bullet points cleared and I didn't do anything to the listing. So, you know, I don't know what the Amazon's doing. Sometimes I try to keep meticulous notes, but sometimes I either don't keep the notes exact or Amazon's doing things that I don't know what they're doing. For the bullet points, you typically get 80 characters. I like to write them off in a Word document and use a little chat GPT, maximize the SEO, all of that good stuff. Paste them into here. Bullet points are also called product key features a lot of times on the other end. So if you go to edit your listing and you're like, I don't have anything that's called bullet points, that's because they changed the name and now it's product key features. Go ahead and copy them in. If you don't want your parent to have anything because you're worried that it's going to override the other children, don't add any to the parent. If you want it to override, then go ahead and add it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Search terms. This is your back end keywords. Anything that you want to put into the listing as a search term, but maybe don't want to have it as something that the customer will see. Customers don't see these terms. So this is where I would put TikTok famous. For these ones, I'd put maybe travel, vacation, boat shoes. I don't know many. I'm drawing a blank on what other search terms I would want to put in there that I wouldn't also put into the bullets. And you're going to put some of those search terms too. I definitely would have toddler, shoes, black, birthday, gift, present, boat, shoe, running out of words again in my head. Color is where we're going to put the color that our shoes are. So let's say the color map is going to be black, and these ones are called Midnight. I'm trying to think of some other black ones. Well, you get the picture. Blue is an easier one. We've got lots of different blues. Negro is the only word that comes to mind when I'm thinking of clothing black. Well, we're going to move on. All this other foo-foo area is where I would do it during the editing process. I don't add it in because, like target audience, collection. Most of this platinum keywords is only if you have brand registration, season of the product. Like, I don't know what season these are. They're freaking tennis shoes. It doesn't make sense, but you get all these options. A lot of options. Product enrichment. Pleat map. Again, I would fill all this out, if applicable, on the edit page. This whole blue section. This is kind of interesting. What is this? Supplier package type, retail box, and sealed bag. Ooh, that is interesting to know. If I were going to do shoe listings and it was a shoe that the customer probably didn't care about the box, then I would make the listing and do that sealed bag option. A lot of people ask for Nike, Adidas. What's the other one? Under Armour, Columbia, any of those big brands. You really need to have the product box. You're going to have customers that get upset, that call your item fake, that call it whatever, that's going to get a ding on your account. And it's a lot of hassle to fix and a lot of hassle to prove that you're buying authentic products just for whatever profit you're looking at. I would not make a business structure out of it. I would sell those shoes on eBay where you're going to have less of a finicky customers. Amazon customers are prima donnas. We all are. I'm an Amazon customer, and I'm definitely a prima donna when it comes to my shipments. I want things packaged. I am paying a premium for them. I want the box. If I am buying shoes that don't typically have a box, though, then I would not worry about it. I got to turn my phone off. Apologies if you guys are hearing that ding. I had my ringer on all weekend for personal reasons. Let's see here. Don't do it. Some people get the plain brown box. If I could speak today, the plain brown box. I don't. I think that's not good. In this area where it has shipping weight and shipping dimensions, if the parent is filled out, it will populate to your child. If it's not filled out, then, and it's a necessity for getting it listed, you will need to fill it out here. I, again, leave this blank and will fill it out on the edit page. You can get away with listing it sometimes without, but when you go to ship it in, it's going to give you a flag and say that package dimensions are not entered. You cannot add this to your shipment. There'll be a little button at that point to add those dimensions, or you can go in and edit your product. Either or will work. So I typically leave this blank. Compliance, unless if we're getting into regulatory stuff and we have like an FBA facility registration number or something, I leave this blank. And again, I do that on the edit side, not on this side. And the last section is red. And what they don't tell you is this condition column is required. Condition note. Item condition. There we go. I was going to say it's a drop down. And we're going to sit new. But see how I didn't do this one? And that's because we're doing a partial update and the parent doesn't really have a condition note. So I don't need to put that in. All right. That concludes this. The next important part is to save it properly. It is currently, let me see if I can put this somewhere where y'all can see. Let's just find a blank. Let me find something that's blank. Do. Let's. I had something and then I lost it for a minute. So just a second. There we go. All right. Now I can share it with you. When you are saving it, it defaults to Excel macro-enabled workbook. And I suggest saving that periodically as you're working on this, in case if you have to walk away or pick it up later. Go ahead and save it often, save frequently. When you want to go upload it to Amazon, you're going to hit this drop-down list, and you are needing to do either an Excel workbook. I believe tab delimited is available as too. We'll see that in a minute. I always do Excel workbook. That is going to give you a .xlsx versus the longer one, which I'll say that in a minute when I can look at it and tell you. As far as the name, I am going to delete all that and put in shoe Nautica flat file. And then I do my dates like this, if I can punch the numbers right. Try again. 07 10 23. That is how I file all of my files with that need a date. It is the best way to do them if you need to ever pull or sort by date versus trying to type out July or trying to use a dash, etc. It just is a good standard way to do your dates. And this is the next part I do. I do try one, because you're going to maybe not get it your first try. Okay, and then we're going to hit save. And I got to remember where I put that. Most flat files don't go through successfully on the first try. You'll typically miss something. You saw how many fields there were, how many things you have to fill out. You may get an error code. You may get several error codes. The good part is that when you get an error code, it's going to highlight and give you a brief description. The Google is really good if you need some help. I'll often Google, Amazon, this is what I Google, Amazon FBA, flat file, error code 5460, 8310, whatever your error code is, and then see what people are doing to solve for that error code. Now we're going to go back to Inventory Lab. Let's go like here. We're going to go 3 little lines, catalog, add products. We're going to click add. I'm uploading a file to multiple products. This is where you can go and pull a blank flat file, but I find having kind of the first line filled out just allows me to fill out the second one. But if we wanted to get a product template, you would click get a product template, and then product template, click Amazon. We would go here and type in, I don't know, shoe. It would give us all of the options for shoes. So maybe we want to nail this down a little bit, but you would select whichever template you want. I only do it for Amazon.com, and then you would generate the template. So you can certainly go that way. Now, let's go back to the beginning so that you guys know. We could click right here where it says upload your spreadsheet, but I want to show you how to get there if you're not doing that. You're going to click upload. Oh, it's the same thing. It's right here. This whole area has changed on the dashboard a few times in the last year. All right. We've got download your spreadsheet, upload your spreadsheet, and spreadsheet upload status. So right here, we're going to select the file, and then we're going to go to the spreadsheet status. And you can see here that I've got several that I've done. We've got download processing. What I want you to note is record successfully submitted. This is the part where you can see if it's successful or unsuccessful. So here, 6 out of 6, good. 1 out of 1, good. 0 out of 1, bad. That means it didn't go through. 0 out of 1, 0 out of 1. It was a rough day. I don't know what happened there. We've got 7 out of 7, 3 out of 7. And this is why I have them as try 1, try 2, try 3, so that I can just keep track of what number am I on, so and it just is a little more organized for me. We've got 61 out of 67 and 67 out of 67. That is one of my master files that I can then go and look at. Let's see if I can bring up what it means. On the actions, I'm just going to download this processing summary. Oh, crud. My computer clicked on something it shouldn't. I love it. Pop-ups, pop-ups, pop-ups. All right. I think I can look at this one. Let's see here. Record number. Perfect. This is not much of a scenario, but we've got error batteries required and not supplied. And we've got supplier declared dangerous hazmat. That's what DGHZ regulation is required but not supplied. So that was an easy fix. Went in and said, I think there was no batteries. If there is batteries, you can do an exemption sheet and just do that. And then I wanted to show you this one. Download that. Perfect. All right. When you download it, it's going to give you exactly the same template that you're used to working in. So you could just save this. You can do your edits on this and re-upload this one, as opposed to seeing the changes on here, going back to your spreadsheet, making the changes, and then uploading that. You can if you want to, but I typically will just save this as try number 2. So download the report. We're going to go look at the feed processing summary. Feed processing summary says, merchant is not authorized to sell products under this restricted product group. Error 6039. And I will go into this one because I think it's applicable to you guys. What had happened was this had been changed to merchant fulfilled. I don't remember why or how, but it got changed to merchant fulfilled. You cannot do a flat file and have it be merchant fulfilled. So what I had to do was go into, there were 6 of them, had to go into each 6 of them and click the change to fulfilled by Amazon for each one, add the dangerous goods, the battery. Does this have a battery? Does this have any dangerous goods? Click no, these were not. Click save and list as FBA, not list and send inventory, just list as FBA. And once I got them done, all I did was I resubmitted the same flat file and boom, they all went through. But you don't get that from this. This is really tough because it says merchants not authorized to sell product under this restricted product group. And I'm going, it's not a restricted product group. And I'm the merchant and it's a private label item. So how am I not authorized? I had to go Google it. I had to Google Amazon FBA error code 6039 and kind of see what stood out from those 6 products versus the rest. What's the difference? You have to play a little matching match. You know, those games where you had to, what is different in this picture? That's what I had to go do. And I said, oh, shoot. For some reason, these are merchant fulfilled. Let me change them to FBA and try it, and boom, it worked. All the error codes are different. Let me see if I can find one more for you guys. Shut that down, shut that down. I got to go back a little bit. And let's see what this summary processing report says. Maybe. Okay, this is a good one too. This one says, I tried to do one, and it says, SKU blah, 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 missing attributes, part number, SKU, blah, 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 doesn't match any ASINs. Make sure that the standard product IDs are correct. Create a new ASIN. Include the following attributes, part number. This is really hard to decipher. So sometimes I have to take it line by line and slow myself down and go, okay, it's missing a part number. Well, I can go add a part number in it. That's easy to do. And then it's upset about the UPC code. So I need to go fix whatever is wrong with the UPC code. When we go to, let's see if I can show that part. When I go to the template, yeah, I can't really show this, but let me scroll over. The error code is not showing. Again, you have to go, all I'm doing is highlighting and unhiding the top because the error code is in one of the hidden cells. Let's see if I can find it. No, it didn't do it on this one. A lot of times it will do a very bright orange. It's just an orange color. And will highlight which cells are upset. And this one was not, it didn't do that. So not always the same every time you go. I can't show you that. But in general, you'll get a little bit of information on what, a little bit of direction. It gives you just a little bit of push into the right direction of what it wants you to fix and do. Let's see here, what is this one? This is not. Too many spreadsheets open, too many spreadsheets open. Let's see if we can find one last one. Maybe I can find it for you. If not, I mean, if you guys are liking this video, it would help my channel if you liked, subscribed. If you have a very specific flat file issue, I encourage you to make an appointment with me on Fiverr, and the link's down below. And the reason for that is you could write out something to me on YouTube here, but if you want immediate attention, it's better to just book, and I can jump on a video call and walk through your flat file with you. And that is, it's hard to describe a lot of these questions without viewing it. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's see if I can find the orange. No, this one's going to be difficult too. I'll show you what the summary is. Let me see if I can remember. This one was a little whiles ago. It says, first here, we got another 6039 merchant is not authorized to sell. So that was another merchant. It was merchant fulfilled, and we had to change it to FBA. Child SKU could not be added to parent because another SKU has the same attributes and is already associated. So that is a good one to know. You've got to, if you accidentally make an extra SKU, you can't put two of the same ASINs onto the parent. They will still show up for sale, but you really need to get rid of one of your children and then add the new one on there. All right, that is all I've got for today. I've got to get started on my day, but I hope you enjoyed. Flat files are very hard. They're complicated. The more you do them, the easier they will get. And I again encourage you to do the minimum to get that listing going, and then go in and edit it. While it's nice to have everything on your flat file, one little mistake is going to give you error codes, and sometimes those error codes are really hard to decipher. Some of the big ones that I've seen is just, like I said, using the wrong thing that's not a valid value, and you're like, oh wait, I got stuck back in the day with the shower gel doing, it was a bundled item, and so I wanted to do it was a one count because it was one bundle that included a shower gel. And they were like, no, we need the fluid ounces. Fluid ounces were the only thing allowed for that variation, for that category. But nobody could tell me this. It took a lot of hours searching around to figure out that was the hang up. So while adding an extra variation to things can be really good, it is kind of a pain in the butt. So unless if you found 25 of these shoes to make it worth your hour to sit down and do these flat files to add those variations in and try to get them accepted onto the parent, I wouldn't do it for $10, right? You're going to do at least an hour of fussing around with flat files. It needs to be worth your time to do so. Take care, guys. Have an amazing day.